That seems to be one of the most treacherous things you models have to go through on the runway. And how do you learn that?
We do teach that. I specifically do teach them how to walk in the first intro or the first episode, and as all of us three mentors, we teach them how to walk throughout the whole show in whatever they're having to deal with in wearing. I mean, that's part of the job. We don't get to choose as models what designers want to give us to wear in their shows or to wear on shoots or to wear, period, you know.
How do you teach that? How is there a secret?
I mean, it's really about an attitude, and it comes from the person, because I personally, when I would walk for Versace, I didn't walk the same way as I walked for Helmut Lang or Armani, because I'd be more in a pantsuit, so I walked more with a masculine type of vibe, and whereas Versace, I wanted to be ultra feminine. So it really is about, for me, building a character in their minds and becoming not themselves, so erasing who they are and being someone else.
Speaking of
Why did you
walking,
decide-
how much of a crimp is this put in your style?
Yeah.
It's fine. I'm fine.
Oh, come on.
It's fine. I mean, it could have been worse. So I'm fine. Have I been able to go swimming on the beach? No, not yet, but soon I will be able to.
Are you in rehab?
I'm physio every day.
Why did you decide to do Face Challenge?
I think because for me, after 12 years of being asked to do television, I was quite afraid of television. And the name, I should actually be more explicit, is reality, because I understood it as that reality, just cameras following me in my personal life, and I am a very private person, and I didn't want to do that. It didn't appeal to me. So when this idea came up and I had a meeting with Eden from Shine, I liked the whole idea of the mentor aspect, because I've been working for 26 years and I felt like I do have a lot that I can share and wanted to share.
How is this going to be different from the show Tyra Banks has had for many years?
I can't answer that, because I can only speak for how authentic the space is and how much I've put into it and worked with production as executive producer. I don't like to compare myself, I never have, so I'll just go on to, our show is authentic. We've gotten, I felt that it was very important to keep it at a certain level and convey that in our production meetings, and that's why I went back to the people that helped me when I was younger, like Patrick Demarchelier, Beth Ann Hardison, W Magazine. These were all people that when I was starting out, they taught me, molded me, and educated me in how to be a model. And they've been extremely supportive. Everyone has been so accommodating and trying to change their schedules and accepting my calls at very late hours and wanting to participate, because they know that I also wouldn't have gotten involved with something if I really didn't think this was the right way. There is no model handbook for models in our industry, and I think it's a good insight for how the industry really is, and I wanted it to be real people to mirror real life model situations that are in the everyday world of today.
When did you find your authentic self and foster the swagger and pride that's necessary to achieve the level of greatness that you have?
I don't think, I mean, I've been really blessed with the people that I've gotten to work with over the years, and some are still with us and some are no longer with us, and they have been like Gianni Versace, Yves Saint Laurent, Herb Ritz, just incredible, Richard Avedon, Irving Penn, just amazing people to learn from, and each one different in their own way. I never walked in the studio once with Herb thinking I could model the same way I did for Richard Avedon or Steven Meisel. Everybody has a different way they want to work with you, and you learn that. And I mean, I'm still working with young new photographers today, and I'm learning something else of how to look. It's a challenge for me to see how photographers take a picture of me today, because I've done a lot of different looks in my career. I don't fall on my laurels. I'm someone, as I said, challenge is a word that's very key in my career. So I still love what I do, and I've never really taken too much to the supermodel term. I understand it's the terminology that you have to call us, and it's a certain group of us women that made that era. But I never look, I don't ever want to think of myself as great. I like what I do my job as best as I can.
But there's a self-belief that you have to have in order to get to where you've gotten to.
You have to be driven, and you have to be passionate about what you want and how you want to do it, and once you commit, you do it 110%, and that's something that I've always been told since I was a child from my mother.
How do you pick a good photographer? How do you know?
They choose you. I mean, I was really lucky and blessed in the sense where Stephen Meisel chose me while I was in London and flew me 16 years old on a Concorde to America to work for American Vogue. I had no idea who he was. And once someone like Stephen Meisel chooses to work with you, it just, your career just starts rolling. It's just, you know, who's he working with? It's like Gianni Versace puts you on the runway, Aston Alaya puts you on the runway, Yves Saint Laurent, Karl Lagerfeld. These 4 designers, again, once they chose you to do their shows, everyone else wanted you. So it just kind of snowballed after that. But a great snowball.
How have you gotten at when you talk about the shows, mentoring, so part of that is going to have to say bye to certain people, and these are young girls, so they're thinking this is bye to their dreams. How have you have you learned to develop that side of?
I mean, that's one of the reasons why I think the show's great, and you know, I try to, with my team, Naomi, I try to instill in them that I'm the tough love mentor of the 3, I would say. I praise my girls, I encourage them, but also at the same time I tell them things they don't want to hear, because I do not want them to feel I'm not going to be with them when they go out into the big wide world of modeling. I'm not going to be with them at every casting, and I want them to know how real it's going to be. And you know, I try to teach them about having thick skin, ignoring, shutting things out, and just keeping your eye on what you came to do. And you know, it's hard to try and teach. It's a fine line of the rejection of not being the right look for a casting session, and trying to teach them, do not take it personally onto yourself and feel like I'm not good enough and I'm less than, because that's really what it's very serious to me that message gets put across, that it's not so. You're just not right for this job. Sometimes the way things are told are not always in a very sympathetic way. Can be quite cold, and I understand the casting people have their business to do, but they have to understand this is a human being. So
how long did it take you to learn that yourself, to tune things out?
I learned pretty quickly, and I think I was a bit more understanding of it because I've been working since I'm 5 years old. So I understood from school, from going out and doing auditions, that what this can feel like. So it didn't really cling to me. Of course there'd be some things where, like, I wish I did get it. But my mother always tried to teach me to say, well, that wasn't meant for me because there's something greater coming. So that's the attitude I've tried to take.
Do you remember looking in a mirror as a child? And what did you see?
A lanky, skinny girl that they used to call Olive Oil.
And did that set well with you? And did you want to prove them right or wrong?
I've definitely been driven since I can remember at a very early age, and I studied theatre arts, and I went to theatre school my whole life. So yes, whenever someone would say, you won't get this audition because there's 600 kids here and they only want 7, I'm like, Mum, I'm getting this audition. And at points my mother would be like, but there's so many kids here, I just don't see it's possible. And I'd be like, you want to bet? So I was making deals with my mother at an early age that I'm going to get this, and if I get this audition, you're going to buy me a Barbie set. So it was, you know, I was driven, and I think, I don't know if it's my mother being a single parent, or my mother always has said that I've been very independent as before I was 1. If I knew she had to go to work, I would go to sleep.
Now, what are your thoughts about the ultra skinny models?
I really don't, you know, I come from a different generation. I come from the 90s, and we are all types and all different sizes and shapes and body sizes, and it's not, for me, I love the feminine looking woman that looks healthy. I understand that a lot of the agencies nowadays have implemented something where if you're under a certain weight, you will not be able to do Fashion Week. That's great. They're all now teaching magazines about having to look and be healthy, eating the right foods. it's not a look that I would desire for myself. But we have to understand there are some girls who that is their body frame. They do eat. I've got friends of mine who was always told that she created this whole skinny look, but she ate every day 3 times a day. When I was younger, I was also too skinny and too underweight for my age, but I constantly ate. It can also be a genetic body type. So we can't just point one finger at it because of that.
Naomi, do you have a favorite charity that's dear to your heart? And if you do, what might that be?
I have a few that I've been connected to over the years. I've been very blessed to work with the Nelson Mandela Children's Fund and Mr. Mandela. And AMFAR AIDS, breast cancer is something my mother's had. I was doing it before, but I took even more note to being involved with breast cancer awareness after she was diagnosed. Now she's in remission, thank God. And basically also now I set up Fashion for Relief, which is a charity that's been going since 2005, which is a charity that it's an idea of mine, but basically doesn't work without the collaboration of all the fashion industry coming together, donating clothes. The first one happened in 2005 in New York, which was for Hurricane Katrina. We tend to focus more on tragedies and immediate emergency situations, and also maternal health for women and children and babies.
Well, thank you. I'm afraid our time is up.
Thank you very much. Thank you.